Hello, welcome, happy Monday. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing in our top story. In the past, recipients of the territory's medical assistance program could not supersede a yearly income of $6,500. However, income eligibility will be raised to $11,770. The revelation is good news for many uninsured individuals that fall between the lines. In a recent press conference held by Governor Kenneth Mapp, he informed that he needs legislative support in the reappropriation of funds to match the federal government contributions to MAP. He also informed in the press conference that he plans to have a private meeting with senators, which the media will not be able to attend. Stephanie Brown has an update.
Reportedly, up to 19,000 more Virgin Islanders have access to health care.
On May 11th of this year, the Centers of CMS, the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Service, approved the expansion plan for the government of the Virgin Islands for the medical assistance program.
The Medicaid program is jointly funded by each particular state and the federal government, which provides health-related services to people with low incomes. Currently, the Virgin Islands has a 55% matching fund rate.
Ergo, why we have asked the legislature to increase the appropriation to the Department of Human Services so 41,000 people can qualify.
On May 10th, legislators assembled in a special session called by Governor Mapp to consider several bills that he stated needed immediate action. Bills regarding the horse racing industry to the reappropriation of funds to assist the Medicaid program and emergency repairs of both the territory's hospitals were assessed.
For Waste Management Authority has indicated that we're dealing with a ticking time bomb.
We do know that the governor is unhappy with the pace that his Senate bills are on. The governor publicly exclaimed that the bills I submitted in my special call and the bills that were introduced and debated on the Senate floor were significantly different bills.
If the members of the legislature do not agree with the funding sources that the administration proposes, it is their job to identify where the money should come from and how the needs of the people of the territory are going to be addressed.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
The Virgin Islands Medical Assistance Program is part of a larger Medicaid national public government healthcare system that has a statutory matching fund which varies from state to state. Well, the 32nd Legislature of the VI Rules and Judiciary Committee met today at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall to consider 10 bills, including Bill number 32-0002, which is an act to authorize the Virgin Islands government to purchase Estate Catherineburg from WICO by offsetting payments owed in lieu of taxes as mandated by Act number 5826 as amended, and Bill number 32-0052, which is a resolution to honor and commend Alan Haynes. He is for his contributions to the community as a police officer. Here's more.
Is Catherineburg of any value to WICO right now?
Oh, well, it's definitely an asset on WICO books, and it carries WICO's overall asset upward. So if you remove that asset from WICO's books, our overall asset will drop. But at the same token, we will be saving on the expenditure side as well.
Really, he's a police officer, but besides that, that's a paid position. He actually gives back to the community with his healing ability, his ability to do rubbing, and so I have utilized his service, my family have utilized his service, and I'm certainly more than happy to be part of this, weighing on this.
Attorney General Claude Walker would like to advise the general public that the Virgin Islands Parole Board will be meeting on Thursday and Friday, June 22nd and 23rd, 2017 at the Golden Grove Adult Correctional Facility on St. Croix, on June 26th to 27th at the Sugaro Correctional Center in Eloy, Arizona, and on June 28th, 2017 at the Wallen Ridge Station Prison, Big Stone Gap in Virginia, and then on June 28th at Keene Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia. All meetings will start at 8 a.m. and the afternoon sessions will start at 12:30, and that's to consider the applications for parole for inmates. Now, June 22nd and 23rd, the board will hear testimony from persons for and against inmates incarcerated at the Citrus County Detention Center, Lecanto, Florida, and the Sagaro Correction Center. And then June 26th, again, inmates at the Sagaro Correctional Center. The 28th, inmates at Keene Mountain Correctional Center and Wallen Ridge State. June 29th to 30th, inmates at Citrus County Detention Center. Now, anyone interested in giving information to the board or testifying at the hearing must submit written comments to the board or advise the board of his or her desire to appear and testify. Such notices must be received by the board at least 3 days prior to June 26, 2017. Written comments or requests to testify should be addressed to the addresses right there. Darian Wheatley, Parole Board Coordinator at the VI Department of Justice. You can call at 340-774-5666, extension 124. Or Ms. Deborah Liebert, who is the project coordinator for the Parole Bureau of Corrections, Golden Grove Adult Correctional Facility, Kings Hill, St. Croix, and the contact number there is 340-778-0400, extension 4705. Well, looking to the courts, 7 Venezuelan men have been arrested for conspiracy to possess controlled substances on board a vessel on St. Croix. Felix Gomez, 37, Roman Jose Aguilar at 37, Jesus Garcia, 34, Rosario Morao, 47, Manuel Rodriguez, 51, Juan Rodriguez at 25, and Joan Gomez, 28, all of Venezuela. They made their initial appearances before U.S. Magistrate Judge George Cannon after being charged in a complaint with conspiracy to possess controlled substance on board a vessel and possession of controlled substance on board a vessel, Acting United States Attorney Joycelyn Hewitt announced. A detention hearing is scheduled for tomorrow, May 23rd. According to court records, during the afternoon of May 8, 2017, a suspicious go-fast vessel was detected by a maritime patrol aircraft in international waters off Martinique. The Coast Guard out of San Juan interdicted the go-fast, detained the 7 men on board, and seized multiple bales which tested positive for marijuana. The Coast Guard then transported the 7 men and approximately 573 pounds of marijuana to St. Croix on Thursday, May 11. Now, if convicted of conspiracy to possess controlled substance and possession of controlled substance on board a vessel, each defendant faces a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison and $250,000 fine. Also in the courts, 5th man has been arrested for robbery of McDonald's restaurant. Troy Titley, 36, of St. Thomas. He made his initial appearance before U.S. Magistrate Judge Ruth Miller after being charged by the indictment with Hobbs Act robbery, conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, possession of a firearm during a crime of violence, and conspiracy to possess a firearm during a crime of violence. Titley, who was detained pending a detention hearing on May 22nd, also has been charged under the Virgin Islands law with possession of a firearm during a crime of violence and possession of a firearm in a public housing zone. 4 other men charged in the robbery of the McDonald's restaurant on March 25th, 2017 at the Lockhart Shopping Center on St. Thomas. They made their initial appearances before Judge Miller on April 26, 2017. The 4 men are Hanselo Riccio, Betel Paulino, Junior Feelies, and Helwood Paris. Now, if convicted, Titley faces up to 20 years in prison on the Hobbs Act robbery and local robbery charges, a mandatory 10-year consecutive sentence for the federal possession of firearm during a crime of violence, and 15 and 30-year sentences on the territorial firearm charges. Be sure to count it too to keep you updated. Now, police say on May 19th, around 12:36 p.m., the 911 emergency call center dispatched units in reference to a discharging of shots in a state barren spot. Officers later found a male individual who appeared to have lacerations about the body and was offered medical assistance. The victim stated he was on the passenger side driving with his friend in the barren spot area when he heard shots discharged. The driver in the vehicle lost control and overturned the vehicle. Officers also observed a male individual lying on his back behind the steering wheel on the driver's side. The emergency medical technicians, along with St. Croix Rescue paramedics, they arrived on the scene. and confirmed there were no vital signs of the male individual behind the steering wheel. The victim was pronounced dead by medical attendants on the scene, sustained from the gunshot wounds. The victim on the passenger side was transported to the Juan Louis Hospital for further examination. This case is actively under investigation. Be sure to call the Criminal Investigation Bureau at 340-778-2211, Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911 if you have any information that can assist police. Speaking of medical assistance, EMS Week, they kicked off their celebration, the Recognition Week, with a parade on Sunday conducted by the Department of Health's EMS staff in conjunction with the Ebenezer Methodist Church. It began from about 3 p.m. from the GERS building to the Charles Harwood Complex in St. Croix, and the public joined in. Here's more. EMS Week kicked off with a parade on Sunday conducted by the Department of Health's EMS staff in conjunction with the Ebenezer Methodist Church.
As your health commissioner, I'd like to thank you for your service and express my appreciation for all that you do for the Department of Health and for the community. You are indeed an asset to the department and the territory.
Governor Kenneth Mapp stated emergency medical services is a vital public service. Access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury.
There are 24/7 response capabilities, for instance. EMS agencies, individuals who are paid or volunteers, public or private, are always available to communities that they serve. EMS is an organization, entity, or profession that has made a 24/7 commitment to the citizens and visitors in their area.
The EMTs perform life-saving work, and it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of our emergency medical service.
In St. Croix, I know that you guys did well. So far for the year, you have responded to over 1,500 calls, with an average time from when you get it till the time you left the scene, left the hospital, was 3 minutes, average. This doesn't count in, this actually takes into the fact that sometimes you're on a call already.
EMS providers, because of their training and ability to take command in the midst of chaos, go in service when they're off duty. They answer the call when the flight attendant, for instance, announces a medical emergency on a spring break flight. They're the first to stop at a crashed vehicle on the roadside, or to begin CPR when an athlete collapses during a game.
Before the parade, on Sunday, May 21st, church services were held at the Faith Moravian Church.
Tuesday, it's education for the staff. Wednesday is our dedicated nationally Emergency Medical for Service Children's Day. And we will be visiting Claudio Marcus School, St. Patrick's School, Eulalie Rivera, St. Croix Christian Academy, and we will be making a special mock drill presentation at the Elena Christian Junior High School. Thursday, it's going to happen up at the Altona Lagoon, and we're going to have, and this is anybody out there in the sound of my voice that want to learn CPR, we're going to be having a World CPR Challenge Day on that day. So come out and learn how simple it is to save a life. To do this kind of work takes more than most are willing to give. It takes compassion, it takes courage, it takes commitment. It takes a desire to make people safer and the world better. We all took our parts to get here, to get into this line of work. But once we did, we found that we had become part of something important.
To all our EMTs as you celebrate and recognize the week. Now looking ahead, as we share, there's a lot of events coming up. For instance, on June 3rd, it's a perfect opportunity for students for a free CPR training. That's at 9 a.m. That will be held at the Central High School gym. Students who participate will receive 8 hours of community service. Those students will also receive a barrier device, a first aid kit, and 2-year certification. Also on Thursday, May 25th, Save a Life, that's coming up, Save a Life Day, participant in the World CPR Challenge in Gallows Bay Lagoon Pavilion. Saturday, it's Old School Party at the Canagata Multipurpose Center. Monday, it's the Memorial Bike Ride in Frederickstead, 8 a.m., starting at the Ann Abramson Pier, ending at the Vincent Mason Pool, 8 a.m., and then a little pool beach party to follow. Well, VITIMA has wrapped up a week of Vigilant Guard exercises, as we shared. It involved the practice points of distributions or pod operations during Vigilant Guard. A mock pod was established at the Four Winds Plaza where volunteers distributed water, snacks, and preparedness information. As part of the Vigilant Guard 2017 exercise, Virgin Islands Fire Service Hazmat, the unit they trained alongside the Puerto Rico National Guard's Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear, and High-Yield Explosive Enhanced Response Force Package units. Now on Wednesday, the two units simulated a collapsed structure with people trapped under rubble and in need of rescue. The teams worked together to conduct search and extrication, decontamination, and medical treatment. The photos taken there were at the VI National Guard training site on St. Croix. Now, also, VITIMA activated the siren warning systems to indicate the start of Vigilant Guard USVI. Those outdoors and within a mile of the siren heard a tone alert and pre-recorded test message. 31 sirens territory-wide were activated. Now, VITIMA reminds you that the Atlantic hurricane season begins June 1st and ends November 30th. Forecasts right now are for a near-average season with 11 named storms, 4 hurricanes, and 2 Category 3 or higher hurricanes. However, it will only take one storm hitting land to make a bad season. So they say make sure you're ready for the season. You can learn more about how to prepare. You can go onto their website or you can log on to www.ready.gov/hurricanes. Well, the Portage Public School District released this photo of Alicia Ellsman, who was killed Thursday when a driver plowed into pedestrians in Times Square. We're going to see that photo shortly. The 18-year-old was visiting New York City with her family. Her 13-year-old sister, who was with her at the time of the accident, was injured and was taken to a local hospital. Alyssa graduated from Portage Central High School in 2016. The principal says she was a terrific young lady. Richard Rojas is charged with murder and 20 counts of attempted murder. He has a history of drunken driving and tested positive for PCP on Thursday. He told police God made him do it. Rojas suffers from psychological issues and told police he expected them to shoot him. Keeping our eye on the economy, Ford CEO Mark Fields is out after less than 3 years on the job. He was replaced Monday by Jim Hackett. Hackett joined the company's operational ranks last year. He was brought in to run Ford's efforts to develop self-driving vehicles. 56-year-old Fields has worked for Ford for nearly 28 years. He became CEO in 2014. Fields has been taking heat from both Ford investors and the company's board of directors. They say he had neither expanded the Ford's core business nor pushed ahead with high-tech development. During Fields' time as CEO, shares of Ford Motor Company dropped 40%. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch there. The Dow up 89, NASDAQ 49, S&P 500 up at 12. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead. Be sure to come right back after the break. Welcome back. Be sure to tune in for those highlights later on in sports from the boxing there. Well, the Division of Personnel, they're observing the 28th Annual Public Service Recognition Week, and they will be holding some ceremonies in both districts. They're advising the general public of limited hours during the office closures. On Tuesday, May 23rd, the Division of Personnel will be closing at 2 p.m. territory-wide. The office will resume normal working hours on Wednesday, May 24th at 8 a.m. Also on Thursday, May 25th, 25th, the division on St. Croix will be closed. They will resume normal operation on Friday, May 26th at 8 a.m. Now on Friday, May 26th, the division's personnel St. Thomas location, they will be closed and they will resume normal operations on Tuesday, May 30th at 8 a.m. Management and staff apologizes for any inconvenience these alternate schedules or closings may cause you. Well, we're getting ready for lots of celebrations and recognitions for cancer, and Relay for Life was held over the weekend, and a wash in a sea of purple at the 16th annual St. Croix Relay for Life was easily the must-see and do event of the weekend. The American Cancer Society's fundraiser, usually held at the St. Croix Educational Complex, but due to ongoing repairs was relocated to the DC Cannegator Ballpark. Led by Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights, many businesses and government agencies, they entered the ballpark to begin their overnight trek around the park to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. Be sure to count on 2. We will have more highlights in Tuesday's newscast. Well, the Virgin Islands Next Generation Network, VINGN, they announced their latest initiatives with the addition of the Mobile Public Computer Central Lab, which they say will help to enhance a public computer access for Virgin Islands residents to the VINGN network, while also providing additional educational training opportunities. My good friend Anita Davis right there shares this information. The associated equipment for the Mobile PCC Lab, which VINGN has begun to receive, includes 10 Chromebooks, computer mice, and a mini projector, and will allow for the Chromebooks to be used to enhance the number of available stations for future PCC training events, while residents continue to utilize the territory's existing free PCCs, which provide Wi-Fi service. The Mobile PCC Lab will allow on-the-go computer literacy training and basic computer science-related demonstrations at any location where a Wi-Fi internet connection is available. VINGN often receives requests to provide training outside of the PCCs, and the Mobile PCC Lab is a hardware enabler to provide impromptu computer literacy training in any PCC, VINGN training space, or a location where Wi-Fi is available. And again, that message comes from the VINGN PCC manager, Miss Anita Davis, and they're inviting the community to experience a hands-on Chromebook introductory lesson by attending one or more of VINGN's special training events. You can call them for more information. Well, let's look ahead. Graduation, commencement ceremonies are coming up. Let's share a little bit of the schedule there. We have on June 8th, 6 p.m., the adult education 12th graders at the Educational Complex Auditorium. On June 16th, we see at 9 a.m. the Pearl B. Larson, the kindergarten PBIS School Auditorium. June 19th and all the way down, we have Ricardo Richards, 9 a.m. kindergarten at the school cafeteria. Then the Alexander Henderson, 9 a.m. kindergarten, PBIS school auditorium. 1 p.m. Alexander Henderson, 6th grade school auditorium. 9 a.m. we have Positive Connections, the Alternative Education School campus. 9 a.m. Claudio Marco, kindergarten, PBIS school cafetorium. And then 1 p.m. Claudio Marco 6th graders school cafeteria. We also have Pearl B. Larson on that same day, 1 p.m. at the 6th graders at the school auditorium. The Elena Christian 8th graders, 9 a.m. at the educational school cafeteria. And then at 4 p.m. CTEC, it's called the Certification Day at the Educational Complex Auditorium. Well, kudos to all who participated. The 2017 Slider Showdown, that was held on Saturday at the Yacht Haven Grand on St. Thomas. The 4th annual event benefits the All Saints Cathedral School. There was a great turnout, as you can see right there, of students, teachers, and supporters just out for fun that any organization can participate in. It featured 4 categories of sliders: beef, pork, seafood, and veggie. There was a slider eating contest and a kids zone, music, and a cooling station. Fun for the entire family. Here's more.
And to everyone that came out today to support St. Thomas All Saints Cathedral School, it was a wonderful event. Today, or Saturday, we actually had a wonderful fundraiser for All Saints Cathedral School called the Slider Showdown. It is the 4th annual Slider Showdown for All Saints Cathedral School. All the money and the proceeds that we received this day goes directly to the school to improve on their educational classes, their sports, their art program, everything. All Saints is a fine institute for students, for education. Me, myself, I'm an alumni. So we took this day today. We have sports clubs, we have restaurants, we have non-restaurants. We even have people campaigning for government that have decided to come out and have a slider burger competition. And it's been a wonderful day. The weather held up really nice. Our main sponsors we'd like to thank today, of course, is 183 Media. They have been very helpful and supportive towards us. We also want to thank West Indies Company. Thank you so much for all your contributions and your donations to make our day very successful. Of course, we want to thank all our other sponsors, all of our other guests, and everyone who participated in today. All our Vikings, our young Vikings who are in schools that have dedicated their time and, you know, have really showed their VI King pride. They really came out and helped us out today. So once again, our 4th annual Slider Showdown was a success. All Saints Cathedral School, we are doing our thing. And we hope to see you next year at Yacht Haven Grand for our 5th annual Slider Showdown, okay? Thank you so much. We love you, VI.
Good job, job well done to all who participated and supported. Well, it was just more than just a lesson. It was an eye-opening experience. Customer service training wrapped up as part of National Tourism Week on last Wednesday and Thursday. It was held on St. Thomas at Sugar Bay and the Juan Louis Hospital and VI Cardiac Center. It included general employees and taxi operators, as well as managers and supervisors. Attendees took the USVI Customer Service Pledge. They learned about conflict resolution. They got an overview of the tourism economic impact and some personal development from Lisa Nguyen from the Etiquette Academy there. Job well done. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
As we continue this evening in the Virgin Islands, we're just getting in more of that easterly trade wind flow, which is driving the showers. But fortunately, we're not talking about anything too widespread or significant as we slowly wrap up the day today here. So as we check out the satellite here, a little bit more in the way of moisture to the south across our area back into Puerto Rico. We should be A-okay. But of course, you cannot let the chance for a pop-up shower into tonight. As we check out conditions here, as for tonight, we're looking at patches of clouds, humidity levels returning or increasing, temperatures dropping to at around 79 degrees. As we continue tonight, also we're picking up that Saharan dust, so we could be dealing with a little bit of a haze as we continue this evening around the Virgin Islands back into Puerto Rico as well. So that's something to note. Sunny skies for tomorrow. A shower will remain a possibility in St. John's. Temperatures there in the mid to upper 80s at 87. Also 87 will be your afternoon high in St. Thomas, and we can expect that similar weather trend. Sunny skies with a chance of a pop-up shower, as well as into St. Croix with highs in the upper 80s with a couple of showers in spots. Your marine outlook in the Atlantic side, well, wave heights climbing anywhere between 2 to 4 feet with that easterly flow continuing here 10 to 15 knots, and we can expect more of that similar trend also in the Caribbean side with waves climbing up to 2 feet, and once again winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots here as well in the Caribbean side. Extended outlook as we continue Wednesday and into Thursday. For the most part, we're keeping things on the tranquil side. A bit breezy, though, as Wednesday rolls around, a high of 87. We'll be knocking it down into the mid-80s as we head into Friday and also into Saturday, with a chance for a stray shower here and there Friday and into Saturday. Sandy, back to you.
Thank you for that update. Time for our News 2 weather picture there by Janai Aurelian of Ricardo Richards Elementary School, giving us a nice outlook to start off the week with some sunshine. Nice rainbow sunshine there, and nice puffy clouds there to take us into the week for a cool time there. Thank you. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address right there on the screen. Be sure to include the info we need and tune in to see it right here on News 2. Stick around. News 2 Sports comes your way next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Lots of sports action this weekend in St. Thomas, so let's get to it. On Friday night, the 50-70 Intermediate Little League All-Star Baseball Tournament featured a St. Thomas versus St. Croix matchup, won by St. Thomas 6-5.
This is the winning pitcher here on my right, Terrell George, my little second baseman, my little cousin, Naikibo Wana, and the manager of the team, Cisco Bonelli, on the far left. The winner of this tournament will represent the Virgin Islands in Reynosa, Mexico from June 23rd to July 2nd.
I started off rough in the first inning, but later in the game I got stronger and kept my hopes high.
We hit a ball good, minor errors. I think we could go all the way to California.
From the base bat to the boxing ring, it was a knockout for TV2 Sports. First, we will hear from Calvert White, the Assistant Commissioner for the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, and we saw him while he was attending the Territorial Youth Games. Then, it's Clayton Lorette Jr., the St. Thomas heavyweight who has decided to turn pro.
What an excellent night we have here with boxing. We have kids from St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John. We even had a boxer here from Tortola. An excellent weekend we had put on by the Department of Sports, Park and Recreation. 160 kids came over from St. Croix competing in basketball, baseball, volleyball, soccer, swimming. I'm just so happy we was able to put this together, and this is what we're trying to do in the department. Get some of these kids, get some of these children off of the streets, give them something constructive to do. We know an idle mind, what that does to things. So as long as we could keep on putting activities out there, doing events like this, bringing all the communities together, not just St. Thomas or St. John, but St. Croix also, and bringing everybody together, maybe we could stop some of the violence in this. Look for the department to put a lot more events like this. We have a lot of blessings from the governor. The commissioner is all in favor for us putting on these events. And as long as I'm here as assistant commissioner, I'm going to push to see more events like this where we could bring all our kids together as one.
I've been boxing for the last about 9-10 years, doing it amateur. Well, we no longer call amateurs, we call international athletes. And I've been doing it for a while, representing the Virgin Islands in a major way. And I think it's about time for me to make the step to start to do a new career, taking it to a new level and becoming a professional. So it's a great feeling, and it's just the beginning of something big. Well, the next thing I have coming up is actually going to be August 19th, right here in St. Thomas, doing my professional debut. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I feel that y'all been rocking me for so long. The Boners have been rocking me for the last couple of years. When I went to Rio, when I went to Toronto, where the hard and y'all been rocking with me, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't do the start of my career right here. So August 19th, y'all stay tuned. We got some flyers and more information coming up, but it's done already set. August 19th will be my pro debut at Anthony School.
That's it for sports. Sandy, back to you.
Thanks for those great highlights, Gary. And that is all for this edition of News 2. Thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Gamansing. Have a wonderful evening.